Head control, Laryngomalacia, and breathing. I've been saying this since the beginning of time. If your child finds something difficult or it hurts them, they won't do it. Guys, movement isn't about strength. It isn't about control. It isn't about, if they are going to do something, they're much smarter than we are. If they're going to do something, especially it's going to affect breathing or not breathing, they're not going to do it. No person is, if I say you're going to get $5 million, but you've got to go drown yourself. You know what I mean? Like there's no concept of that. Your body will not do self-harm. Your body will not stop breathing. It won't. Breathing, balance, and heart functions are the three main structures of movement. And if you're like you and I right now, I'm not worried if I'm breathing or not. So I can come here and do my job. But if I was in respiratory distress, I'm not here. Right? So it's the same thing too. So if she's learned, if I go this way and I stop breathing, now I hear clicking when I'm working. You might not hear clicking. You know, again, it's for other munchkins. But immediately when I saw her, that's the first thing I asked: does she have Laryngomalacia? Right? But Laryngomalacia, you know, should be rectified by 11 months. So at 2.5 years old, that they're just leaving her like that. And then on top of that, what she's doing is she's raising her head with her eyes to see. So she's here, and see, when I do this, I have no vision, and then I go to use my eyes and my head drops. So she has those two things going on. We've got to see if we can rectify the Laryngomalacia, especially if there's on top of that enlarged adenoids or that. So my son he didn't have the Laryngomalacia, but he had the Mophilus influenza and all that. So he went to move, and so he just learned, like, if I lay here, this is the best place to go. And you know, he's just so lazy. I got all of that stuff. It's not about being lazy. It's they're protecting their nervous system. Nobody does harm to a body. When an adult, you know, when you have those instances where someone's doing harm to their body, right? There's some big psychological impacts to that. We just don't do it. We're not here to harm ourselves or hurt ourselves. Or like when people say like, oh, I won't do, let's say, I'll pick on cancer. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'll just, if I had cancer, I would just, you know, I wouldn't choose to do chemo. When it comes down to it and someone tells you that this is it, let me tell you, that's unless it's really like within days away, people will start to fight. They will fight. It's just not in our nervous system. So with your daughter and so forth, so if the surgery is not going to happen, water bowl technique, go to the breathing course and everything right now. She has to relearn every movement she's done in 2.5 years that she can do it with breath. If she does one movement where she's going and she's not breathing, she's not doing the movement. And it's just that simple. And that's why you've gone, everyone's like, she has to get stronger. You can't get strong enough not to breathe. It's just not the way it works. You know, I'm annoyed just at more professionals out there. We have to understand how the nervous system works. It's not about a brain base. I mean, your daughter is super intelligent, but she's not going to go into a position. If she feels it sitting just once and she goes, you know, or again, any of those kind of things happen. Done. And you know, some people might have a relatability like morning sickness. I used to love to juice carrots, all that veggies. If I smell a juice carrot right now, I mean, it just brings me back to morning sickness time. It just like that was my, you know, and a lot of people, and I know I'm intelligent. I can say it's not going to do that. It's not going to get me sick. It doesn't matter. To my brain, it was like, oh, that stuff's poison. And so again, if that's your relatability, but it's not a muscle memory. It's intelligence of the system, and she's protecting herself. So, you know, again, so the question is it going to be rectified? And if not, you know, what's being done about it? But to be left that she's just a special kid and oh well, too bad, so sad, I don't think is acceptable. But again, the fact that she's gone so long, again, working all her movements around the lack of breath, you can see I've stabilized the head. I'm here working, and I'm just doing water bowl technique, and I'm working on my midlines. Start with the breathing course, but it's really going to be very diligent on your part. You're not going to get this unless you're with again, myself, one of my practitioners, or from yourself. This is why I do these courses, because you're not going to get this information or these techniques or the help that you need from other modalities that way. They don't rectify, and they'll bypass the breath response. And that first you've got to get breathing, and then we got to work on the breath swallow ratios. That's when you're going to go into this the swallow pre-feeding sucking course, just to, again, with the intent of around the Laryngomalacia, and that's what you need to work on. And that's where your frustration is coming from for you and your daughter.